Thank you everyone for being here tonight to learn more about our athletics program. Very excited for everything that we're able to offer this year. Tonight is going to be a very informational meeting. Hopefully, all of your questions will be answered. I think I got everything ready. Now let's try sharing. There we go. Okay, I do want to get started. I would like for the presentation only to last about an hour or so, just respecting everyone's time. I know we live very busy lives, but once again, thank you for coming to our athletics information session today. A lot of the questions, thank you for those who filled out the Google form responses and asked your questions in advance. A lot of those questions will be answered in tonight's presentation, so I'm very excited for that. But just for the interest of time, I will not be able to take questions all the way at the end. If I haven't answered a question that you have, I will put my email in the chat. I'm very responsive to email, so feel free to email me at any time with any questions that you have, or if you have a question that's kind of more along the line with just your family, feel free to give me an email so that I can answer that for you. Okay. So today's agenda, I have a short message I would like to show. I think the kids say it a lot better than I can about the impact of our sports program. So some of our former athletes have made a video talking about some of the things that they look forward to being on a sports program from AoC. Then I'll introduce you to some of our coaches. We have their pictures and some of the things that they teach during the day, but then also the sports that are going to be coaching this year. We have some more detailed team information. And then a large chunk of tonight will be paying attention to the student athlete expectations and what's going to be asked of your student athletes.
Hi, I'm Arabella from the AoC volleyball team.
Hello, my name's Devin. I'm part of the AoC basketball team.
Hi, my name is Victoria Kumar, captain of the girls basketball and girls volleyball team. I started in sixth grade as a manager. My coaches slowly encouraged me to join and try new sports and ended up becoming the captain. Later in the year, I ended up joining volleyball and ended up becoming captain for that as well.
My basketball experience this year was good because I had fun playing this year. Sometimes got emotional, sometimes didn't. But I just liked it because I had a great bond with my teammates. And I can't wait to meet my new teammates this year.
You make a lot of friends there and you have a lot of fun there. And it's just a good thing when you go after school, and it's just a good reliever. You just play sports.
Try their best and work hard.
I would say, just join it and you get to know a lot more people, especially since they're new to everyone here. You're gonna meet a lot more, and then if you meet those people, you meet a lot more people.
The benefits of letting your kids join a sports team is that it will teach them disciplines, and it will also teach them how to balance a student-athlete schedule. At the end, it also builds sisterhood together and brings closer bonds.
I would say go for it because I felt the same way when trying out, and just go for it.
These were our uniforms for last year's season, and these are the shorts with the AoC logo on it. But this year we might get new jerseys. Who knows? I can't wait to meet the new athletes at tryouts. Victoria Kumar signing out.
Yes. Okay. So here are some of our coaches. That's me all the way over here on the left. It's Mr. Faulkner, the athletic director. I oversee the whole sports program. So I act as a liaison between the different leagues that we have that we're active with, and then also giving that information from the leagues to the school, and then also to you as families. So that's what I do. I have not seen myself without a beard in about a year or so now. So that's interesting that we still have that. Our another coach that we have is Mr. Whitty. He is the PE teacher at the middle school. He's also our current flag football coach that's active right now, and he also is the boys varsity basketball coach. Another coach that we have is the physical education aide, Mr. Pickett. He's at the elementary school, but then around March, he leads the girls varsity volleyball program. Our first ever championship level coach, Mr. Fullhart, is our current 7th and 8th grade history teacher, and he is our esports coach. For esports, currently we are competing in Super Smash Brothers, which was the team that won the championship this year. And also we compete in Rocket League. We're excited to have Charlotte Beckel, Miss Beckel, our 8th grade science teacher, to join our team as the cheer and spirit coach this year. So here is the full catalog of sports that AoC offers. This slide makes me very, very excited because we started off with just one team. We only had a basketball team, and now we've grown to have 7 teams and competing in every single season. So right now, our co-ed flag football team is active right now. The game scheduled was released as of 2 p.m. today. So I've updated that. If you're on the practice schedule, the games are now uploaded onto that document. In the winter season, which goes from November to February, we have our basketball teams and our cheerleading team will be active during that window of time period. One of the questions was, is co-ed flag football happening all year? The answer is no. It happens in the fall season. So from September to about mid-November or so is when flag football is going to be ending. Just a caveat, some of the teams will run longer if we're successful and we make the playoffs. So the playoffs can extend the season a little bit longer, but the months that are noted there below the sports lets you know that's kind of what the regular season is and when the regular season is going to be ending. So for boys basketball, girls basketball, cheerleading, that's about November to February. So around the middle of October, you can start looking at the newsletter and you'll see signups for the tryouts for those teams. So around October, you'll start seeing time to try out. Our spring season from March to June has our boys soccer team, our girls volleyball team, and our esports team. Boys soccer, just a little bit of information for that. If you have a student that is a girl who is highly competitive and she feels like she can play a little bit with the boys and you are okay with that, girls are able to play on boys sports, so a girl will be able to do that. However, unfortunately, boys are not able to play on girls sports. However you see that is however you see that. But that's just in accordance with the laws of the country right now. So as we said before, we are excited to launch our first season of flag football. We are very, very excited about the turnout. We had about 31 students interested in our flag football team. We were only able to take 12 of those students. So from those other students who unfortunately were not able to make the final roster, we do make a wait list. And as is true this season as well, some students were not able to commit to being on the team for whatever reason, personal reasons, schedule conflicts. So we do pull from that wait list. So we do hope, we understand that it could be a little disheartening having a tryout and not making the team, but don't fret. A lot of the times, the majority of the times, we do pull from that wait list to make our final roster. So the first game is September 30th at Murray Playground. So our game is already scheduled. That's a Tuesday. 2 Tuesdays from now is the first game for co-ed flag football. We're very excited to see how our athletes do. So here's a quick snapshot of a lot of the things you need to know as an adult. There is a registration fee. We do desperately need that registration fee. If you go to the board meetings, which I really, really strongly encourage you you do understand the climate that we're kind of operating in, and that we are in a little bit of we have to be very strict about how we're spending our money as a school. And so that means that our budget for athletics is, we appreciate it, but we do need those registration fees to help. They go to paying the coaches, they go to paying the league fees, they go to paying for the uniforms, they go to the referee fees. Just a little bit of understanding. For basketball, referees, we have to pay them $60 per game. We have 10 games per team. We have 2 basketball teams. So that's 10 and 10, which is 20 times 60. That lets you know just in the referee fees that we have to pay just to be active in that sport. Part of the things that we like to do to kind of make things a little bit more equitable and appreciative is that our 8th graders are always able to keep their jersey tops as like a memento. But our 6th graders and our 7th graders, we're hoping that they're going to come back and be 8th graders with us. So when they're in that 8th grade year, they'll be able to keep their jerseys. However, just to be clear, 6th graders and 7th graders are asked to return their jerseys at the end of the season. For esports, the registration fee is only $150 for esports. This year, there's a little bit of a difference. We don't have the ability to have a shuttle bus this year. If you were a student athlete adult last year, there was a shuttle bus transportation. This year, we don't have it in the budget for that. So what we're going to do is if your athlete plays a court sport at the elementary school, so that'll include boys basketball, girls volleyball. Those sports, we're going to have practice starting at 4 o'clock. They'll be grouped together and take public transportation and will arrive at the elementary school. So it's going to have to be public transportation from our middle school to our elementary school in Woodside, and they'll practice and be dismissed from our elementary school in Woodside. Part of the initiative to help build a sustainable program is fundraising. Fundraising is a huge part of athletics. You might see students from other schools selling candy bars on the train or on the bus and things like that. That's something that is just part of the climate for athletics. So we will be asking students to assist us with fundraising as well. There is some mandatory league paperwork and AoC paperwork that must be fully completed. I'll be showing you our athletics code of conduct document and also our medical form that we do need. And then leagues also to ask for specific forms. So when your athlete has made the team, a lot of those league paperwork forms will be given to them at that time. But AoC does have paperwork that we do also need to be fully completed. We use MTA transportation for games. How I see carpooling is if we have parents, we know parents are very, very busy. Adults are very, very busy nowadays, and it's not always possible to arrange for carpools. So if we have enough carpooling to accommodate an entire team, we'll use carpooling. If we don't, if we can only have like 4 or 3 students to be able to be in a carpool, then we rather just have everybody arrive together via MTA transportation. The athletics program has given Mr. Faulkner a couple of heart attacks before where some athletes were going to be carpooling and the rest of us took public transportation. And we get the call that some of our athletes got lost, took a wrong turn, and the game was about to start. It's not very fun. it's not very fun. So I would like to try to keep the teams together as much as possible, and that's the rationale for that. When your student makes the team, we have a team WhatsApp that is crucial for you to join. As soon as we formulate our team, I get the parent phone numbers and I put you all on a WhatsApp. That is super, super important. We just used that for our flag football team. We went to different locations in Astoria, and we go there and people have permits. We looked on the website, it was open, that spot was open that we could use it, but people had permits and the website was not updated. So we had to move. The quickest thing is not for Mr. Faulkner to pull out a laptop and email everyone. The quickest thing is to put a message on WhatsApp. And that's what we use for our games as well, WhatsApp. So please make sure that you join that invitation as soon as you get that. Weekly emails are also sent detailing the week ahead. As I said before, I am like a liaison between the league and our school. I am not fully in control of what happens. So sometimes, even though you will have a practice schedule, even though you will have knowledge of when you think games are going to be, I might get an email Sunday night and say the team canceled. We're going to give you another team on a different day. That's kind of like beyond my control. Sometimes that happens. A lot of time that happens, to be quite honest with you. So even if you are on the document where you're tracking when practices are, just know it's subject to change. We use WhatsApp, we use email. So please feel free to use all of those media just to make sure that you're up to date with the goings on of your team. And a schedule will be going out for the teams as they are created. So when the basketball season starts, there'll be a schedule created for the boys basketball team, girls basketball team, cheerleading, so on and so forth. One of the things that we are really, really excited and proud of is that our athletics program extends far beyond the players on the court or on the field. There's other ways for students to get involved, and we're really, really proud of how big we've kind of built this up. We are in need of team managers. What a team manager will do is during the game day, the officials will need scorekeepers to work a scoreboard. They'll need students to take notations in a book to keep track of scores and fouls and how many timeouts were taken. So that's a really, really big job that we need help with. I mentioned before with fundraising, we do have concession sales at our home games. So we'll have like a little snack store in the corner where students can go and purchase different things to eat, different snacks, things to drink. We need students to fill that role. Our sports media team was captained by our Mr. Alex Baroda at our school. He does a phenomenal job prepping students to do after game interviews. The students are in charge of live streaming the game. So if you're not able to be there, thanks to Mr. Alex for hooking us up with live streaming. Our media team had a special privilege last year. Mr. K, our dean, also coaches at Baruch College. This young lady right here, Mia Castillo, reached school history by scoring 2,000 points in her career. Our media team was able to kind of cut the line in front of NBC and things like that to actually interview the athletes right after the game on the floor. Really, really cool. The Baruch College media team was able to kind of give them pointers so that they can learn how to be effective with their interviews, how to ask effective questions. It's a great experience. We hope to continue that partnership with Baruch College as well. So sports media is another thing that is open to our students. And also just coming and cheering the teams on. Our crowds have been growing and it makes a huge difference with our athletes. So if a student doesn't make the team, we would love to have them still cheer on the teams and kind of show your AoC spirit and school pride. So sports clinics is something that we've done pretty regularly in the past. When we have times off of school, like during a winter break, during a midwinter recess, we like to reach out to partnerships with other companies and see if they can come into our AoC facility and run a sports clinic to help our students grow in their foundational skills. We do need a lot of foundational skill work at this level, and it's really awesome to have outside partnerships to come and provide that service for us. There is a registration fee for each clinic, and what that's going to look like this year is as we get closer and closer to different longer breaks, like the winter break, the midwinter recess, look out in the newsletter for a survey gauging your interest in seeing different types of offerings that we have as a sports clinic for that time. We see what your availability is, how much you would be able to pay the registration fee for that, and then we'll kind of make a decision if we're going to have a sports clinic. Just real world, just a real world fact. We have one organization that I was really excited we're working with. They're called Top Elite. They're a basketball training organization, and they have professional basketball players, current and former, running their clinics. They have really cool giveaways. However, the charge at the time was $3,500 to have them come to our school. So if we reach out and we see only 5 people are available, obviously we wouldn't be able to have that type of a clinic. So that's just kind of like real world numbers. But that's why we also do need to charge a separate registration fee for the level of skills that we're looking to work with our students with. So as I said before, as we get closer and closer to those days when we have like little vacations off from school, look for those surveys and let us know if this is something that you would be interested in having your child participate in. Okay, so the remainder of today will be talking about the student athlete leadership expectations, what grades need to look like, what behavior needs to look like. This is just like a little bit of a snapshot of some of the things that we're talking about. We're looking at C- minimum in all of those classes. We're looking for no disciplinary referrals. This year is something that we're going to really be looking at, that students know in advance what their schedule is going to be like so that they can attend all practices and all games. Before, we knew that we're building our athletics program, and sometimes students didn't come in from one year to another knowing exactly what sports we were going to have. Now that we're starting to become more established, we're going to be asking our student athletes that AoC takes priority over any other team that you're on. We fully support you them wanting to be on multiple teams outside of school and things like that. That is completely fine. However, the expectation is that they'll miss those games and those practices for AoC games and AoC practices. That's kind of where we're going with this. And the reason why it's pretty understandable, right? If we have a particular student who might be strong, but they can only come to like 2 practices a month, but they can come to all the games, it's kind of not fair. It's kind of not equitable for everyone else, right? So we want to make sure that before tryouts happen, you kind of make sure that you can commit to being on an AoC team to kind of build that team spirit, camaraderie, build the chemistry, all those things that is necessary to be present at all games and all practices that could be fostered. We're looking for them to be leaders on the court, on the field, in the classroom, in the community, always doing what is right, because our student athletes are leaders, they're role models. Other students look up to them. It's just the nature of being an athlete. And so that's what we're going to be asking of our students and our athletes to be able to be leaders and exhibit that leadership behavior. So I have a quick overview of the code of conduct policy, and this kind of like encapsulates everything that the document is talking about.
Ever wonder what it really takes to be a student athlete these days? Well, it's way more than just showing up for practice and games. It's basically a contract. We got our hands on one school's super detailed athletic policy, and let me tell you, it opens up this fascinating world of high standards and strict values that really shape these young athletes' lives both on and off the field. Right out of the gate, this policy makes one thing crystal clear. It starts with this incredibly powerful idea. Playing sports here is a privilege, not a guarantee. That one sentence, that's the foundation for everything else we're about to dig into. It frames this whole thing as something you have to earn every single day. So how does a student even get a shot at trying out? You'd think the journey starts on the field, right? Or maybe on the court? Nope. This policy says it starts somewhere totally different, the classroom. Let's take a look at the hurdles they have to clear before they even get to pick up a ball. And this right here lays out their whole philosophy perfectly. Before you're an athlete, you're a student. It's that simple. To even be considered for a team, you got to clear two major hurdles, your behavior and your grades. The message could not be any clearer. The student part of student athlete always comes first. And they get incredibly specific about what counts as bad conduct. I mean, there's a hard limit, a single number that can make you ineligible for an entire season. And that number is 3. Just 3 detentions and your chance to even try out is gone. It's a really hard line that shows just how seriously they take everyday behavior. On the academic side, the standards are just as concrete. You have to be passing most of your core classes, you absolutely can't be failing more than one, and you need at least a C- average across the board. Put simply, a strong report card is your ticket to the dance. It's non-negotiable. Okay, so you made it through tryouts. You're on the team. Congratulations. But guess what? Making the team is just the beginning. Now the expectations get even higher. Let's look at the standards these athletes are held to every single day. And look, this isn't just about what happens at practice. This commitment is a 24/7 deal. It covers literally everything, from being on time for your first class to how you conduct yourself on social media. The message is simple. When you wear that jersey, you're always representing the school. But, it's not all just about strict rules and high expectations. There's also a ton of support. If an athlete's grades start to slip, they're required to join this program called Athletes Helping Athletes. It's basically an academic safety net, making sure that students who are struggling get the help they need to get right back on track. And when it comes to sportsmanship, well, the lines are drawn bright and clear. This is like a rapid-fire list of absolute no-goes. From taunting the other team to arguing with the refs, all these behaviors are explicitly banned. It just reinforces that how you play the game is just as important as whether you win or lose. So what happens when an athlete breaks one of these rules? Well, the policy doesn't leave it up to chance. It lays out a very clear escalating system they call the ladder of consequences for handling any missteps. And it really is like a ladder. The first misstep gets you a warning and a sit down with your family. Do it again, and you're missing a practice. A third time leads to a game suspension. And that final step, well, that could be dismissal from the team. The path and the stakes are totally clear to everyone. But, and this is a big but, there's a really important catch to that whole ladder system. The school has the right to skip steps. If an offense is serious enough, they can jump straight to suspension or even dismissal. It gives them the flexibility to handle major issues right away. This policy isn't just for the students. It makes one thing really clear. Success here is a total team effort. And that team includes the coaches and, this is a big one, the parents. To avoid any potential conflict or drama, the policy gets super direct about parent-coach communication. It spells out exactly what's okay to talk about, like your child's well-being, and what is completely off limits. And you gotta notice that playing time, team strategy, and anything about other kids, that's all firmly in the inappropriate column. Yep, parents get their own code of conduct too. It's all about being positive and letting the coaches do their thing. But it all boils down to that last crucial point. Remember, the game is for the athletes. That's such a powerful reminder of what this is all supposed to be about. And if a parent does have a legit concern, there's a clear protocol. You can't just go straight to the top. The process is structured. First, you talk to the coach. If that doesn't work, then you go to the athletic director. And only after that, the principal. It's a system that's built on respect and order. So as we get to the final whistle on this deep dive, what's the big picture here? What is a policy that is this detailed, this structured, really trying to do? At the end of the day, this was never really about just winning games, was it? It's about building character. This entire policy, from the grades to the code of conduct, is designed to teach things like discipline, leadership, and respect, skills that are going to last a lifetime long after the games are over. Which leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. A policy like this provides an incredible amount of structure, and that can be amazing for development. But it also brings up a really important question. How do we balance these super high expectations? Where's that fine line between building character and creating just way too much pressure for young people? It's definitely something for all of us, parents, coaches, and educators, to really think about.
Okay. With that last question, that kind of brings us to our award ceremony, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit, a couple of slides. So what was the key takeaways? Well, the student comes before athlete at AoC Middle School. We need to make sure that our students have the ability to juggle their academics before that they can become an athlete at AoC. We're trying to make sure that students are not failing multiple subjects or have low grades in their core subjects as they're trying out. If they do need to pay a little bit more attention to their academics, then we might be asking them not to try out until their grades are a little bit stronger. Especially for our basketball season. So we have different leagues that we compete in for different sports. Our basketball league is very, 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 very strict. Our basketball league, they can't have a grade below a certain average. If they do, we have to email the league, let the league know the list of students that are on academic probation and cannot be playing or cannot be practicing. If they do come in and they see that that student is playing in games, we can forfeit games, we can get kicked out of the league. So this isn't just an AoC thing. This is something for certain leagues that we need to make sure that they're meeting their academics and their behavior as well. Our student athletes are expected to represent themselves, families, and schools with integrity at all times. As we noted before, we use public transportation. Our AoC logo, the name of our school is right, on our students. So people are starting to know exactly where these kids are coming from, where building our kids are coming from. So we want our students to represent us in a way that will make us proud. While they are on a team, they must be making sure that they're coming to school and classes on time every day. Attendance is really, 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 really important. So school attendance, here's the school rule, right? Students need to be in school for a full day in order to participate in practices or games. If they're not able to be in attendance for a full day, it needs to be at least half the day, but with documentation. So for instance, if a student has a doctor's appointment in the afternoon, they should not be missing the whole day of school. They should come in the morning, provide the documentation, and then leave for the appointment. Then they will be able to come to practice that day or the game that day. The converse is also true. If they have an appointment in the morning, after the appointment, they should come with documentation for the front office, letting them know, okay, I had a doctor's appointment or something happened, and here I am, I'm in school. So then they will be able to come to the practice or the game that day. They cannot be absent for the full day and then come to practice and expect to practice with the team. That cannot happen. And sometimes it is true. We've had students like that are not feeling good. They've been throwing up all day, but then they start to feel better. And they're like, okay, well, I'm going to come to school tomorrow, so I should come to practice. Unfortunately, the school rule is you need to be in attendance that day. Attendance at practices and contests is mandatory, kind of like I said before. AoC takes priority over non-AoC teams. In absences, and this is the key for this one, unexcused absences like detentions and suspensions are considered unexcused absence. So that's why behavior is super, super, super important. If a student is suspended for a day, if they had a game that day, they are absent. They cannot participate in that sport. Suspensions is actually a little bit bigger of a thing. They should not be getting suspended anyway, but that's how we kind of see that. Team commitment, we are expecting our students to do the best that they can. They come with full effort. They give their coaches their all, and their coaches will give them their all so that we can continue to build on our reputation in our leagues, representing our school to other schools that we are strong. We have a presence in these leagues. So, Athletes Helping Athletes is a program that we started last year, and it showed a lot of success. With Athletes Helping Athletes, with this program, it's a before school program. So we open our doors to those athletes from 7:30 to 8:15 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. This is going to be getting within the next week or so. Another newsletter will go out announcing that the program is going to be opening. And beginning for the winter season, since fall season has already started, we can't mandate this. But starting in the winter season, the first 2 weeks of the season, all students should be coming to Athletes Helping Athletes to get acclimated with the program. We really appreciate it when we have student athletes volunteer their time to help, and we can take volunteers from grades 6 through 8. If you're looking at the picture, this girl in the blue is acting as one of our athletes helpers. The girl over here in the pink is another athlete helper acting as tutors. So they are getting practice helping other students with struggling academic performances, helping out with homework if they're missing out on homework, so if they didn't understand the lesson from the previous day, they should come here. Another thing that we like to do is we like to bug the teachers if they're there early to see if they can come down and help. And the teachers will give them a little bit one-on-one support. So this program, after the first 2 weeks, is voluntary. We really, really, really appreciate the athletes that come and volunteer. We give them academic volunteer hours that they can use for their high schools. And we really appreciate it when they do that. However, it's mandatory for students who are below our academic threshold. Students who are below 70% in a core subject. The core subjects are math, ELA, science, and history. If they're below a 70, they must come. If they are failing any other subject, they must come until those grades are up. So the penalty for that would be if the students are not coming and their grades are low, that's when they might start seeing a reduction in their playing time, and they might be having to sit down games and sit down practices until their grades come up. So our annual award ceremony. So as the video was talking about, we know that we put a lot of pressure, we put a lot of things on the plates of our student athletes. And so we like to have a nice, large award ceremony for our students. We have catered food, we have awards. It's just a really, really great night. The students dress up and to receive their awards. The students give a 30-second thank you speech, just like they say the professionals do. We really kind of go all out. So we would really like it for students to come to this. It's free for the students, and it really celebrates their accomplishments throughout the year, right? Students who are on the media team also get some awards. Students who help out with the teams as managers, they're also eligible for awards. The rationale behind this is that we really want to celebrate everything that the students have accomplished throughout the year. So we do this around the first Friday in June is usually when we have it. And the attendance for this, we would love all the athletes to be able to attend and show their support. So as parents, how can you get involved? Well, we definitely need fundraisers. If you have any fundraising ideas, please send them my way. To attend games, by attending games, the level of excitement goes up through the roof. We can tell it as coaches from the bench. When they see there are adults there, they see their families there, they're going to have that little smile, they're excited to get into the game. Your attendance matters. So attending the games as much as you can. We know everybody is very, very busy, but that's something that you can do. Our students are always hungry. I'm sure you know that even more than I do. So if you want to donate some allergy-free snacks or beverages for the students to have before practices, a box of granola bars or anything like that, the students would absolutely love and appreciate that. Assist athletes by practicing with them at home, asking them, hey, would you go over and practice? And what did you have trouble with? What did the coach tell you that you need to work on? And then working on them as a way to bond with them is a fantastic way to also show your support of everything that they're trying to accomplish as a student athlete, trying to get better. But then also, indirectly, you're also supporting the team as well. by doing that. There's my email address if you want to take a picture of that. Any questions or anything that I can help you with, please feel free to email me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I always love talking about sports. There's nothing you can bore me with talking about sports. It's just everything that I love talking about. So feel free, B. Faulkner at academyofthecity.org, and I will answer your questions as soon as I can. So some of the questions that I did see, one person had a question, will girls basketball players need to redo tryouts this year? The answer is yes. Every single year we have tryouts. Everybody should be coming to those tryouts if they're interested in being on that team. There's a couple of things that coaches look out for. Not only are we looking if for basketball people can dribble, pass, shoot, but then we're also seeing how they work well together with others. We're looking for team chemistry, team camaraderie. What are some things that you do to try to learn a new play? If we're trying to teach you a play, how do you go about that process? And as coaches, we get better from year to year. So we're hoping to see students get better from year to year. I'm part of Team USA basketball, so they have clinics that they go to, and they have seminars where they have different coaches at different levels teaching strategy, talking the game. So we're coming back with new ideas, and we would like to see students coming back with new abilities that we can use to try to make our program stronger. So yes, even when your student is a member of the team last year, they're still expected to go to tryouts for the next year. We talked about volleyball, soccer tryouts, usually the month before the sport. So in wintertime, the sport goes from November to about February. So October would be the signups for the tryouts. In soccer, the tryouts would take place around in March. So look in around February to hear about when tryouts are going to be coming about the month before. Financial assistance is a great question. If you have a financial need, we handle that on a case-by-case basis. So please email me. Once again, my email. Can I do it? I'll put my email once again in the chat. So at AoC, one of the things that is really important to us is equity. We don't want cost to be the only reason why a student is not able to participate on a team. So we really work with you case by case. Maybe it could be something that looks like extra fundraising for that student. Another way, but we definitely would like to collaborate with you. Don't say, oh, you can't because of cost. Please email me, let me know, and we can kind of work on that on a case by case basis. Great question. So, cheerleading, super excited this year. We have Miss Beckel, who's going to be coaching our cheerleading team. And so, cheerleading is going to be open to sixth graders, seventh graders, and eighth graders this year, 6 through 8. She brings extensive high school cheerleading as part of her background. She is very, very excited to start working with the girls and the boys and start building them up on the cheer team. So it is open this year, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Their practices will be taking place at the middle school, and it will be 3 times a week, just like all the other sports as well. And she has some great ideas that she's looking to kind of build that program. Okay, so I do believe that is all of the questions that I had. I hope this was valuable. I hope I answered everything that you're looking forward to. I hope that you're excited to join our athletics teams. Hopefully, your students are excited. They're already talking about it. We are excited. Coaches are excited. I'm excited. And we know that this year is going to be even better than all the other years. I do see another email. So this does kind of conclude the program, but if you wanted to stay on for questions, I don't mind answering a couple of the questions. So will practice be every day? I guess I can share my screen to kind of give you an example of what the practice schedule will look like. It's a one-person show. It's just a little interesting trying to get everything going, but it's okay. I'm up to the task. Trying to make sure I can get to my screen. It's not the one I want. So sorry, bear with me. 1 second. Press escape. There we go. How about that? And then the amount of tabs that I have open is absolutely horrible. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Now let me go back to Zoom. Thank you, friends, for being patient. Okay, so here's what the practice schedule looks like. And the practice schedule is updated. Like I kind of said before, I act as a liaison to the group. What we're looking at is the practices for flag football. So generally speaking, we try to have students active maximum 3 times a week. So here's a perfect example. This week here, practices could be 3 times, or practices, I'm sorry, it can be twice and then 1 game. So every single team is going to have a schedule that kind of looks like this. Well, they can expect to have 2 practices and 1 game, or early in the season, if we had the opportunity, we would have 3 practices. As you can see, some of the school closings do affect the amount of times that we can practice, but that's just the nature of everything. But generally speaking, the rule of thumb is they're active maximum 3 times a week. 2 practices, 1 game, could be 2 games, 1 practices, could be 3 practices, no games, but generally speaking, maximum three times a week. I hope that answers that question. Let's see. I'm interested in cheerleading. Awesome. Can you send me information for the daughters on the 7th grade? Excited. We're super excited about building up this program for cheerleading. Cheerleading is going to be a winter sport, so that means they're going to be active starting in November. So look out for that. And if you are on the newsletters, please make sure that you're reading the newsletters in its entirety. Sometimes, they put things that are more important than Mr. Faulkner Sports, but it is what it is. Take a look at those newsletters and you'll see when practices are going to be happening, when tryouts are going to be happening, when signups are going to be coming up. So when we start announcing that, it should be around the middle of October for cheerleading. Please make sure that you fill out that form that lets us know how you want them to be dismissed, that lets us know, what grade there are, and make sure that we can check to make sure that they're academically eligible for that as well. So look for that in about another month or so for cheerleading. Okay, was there any other questions that I can answer before we jump off? This was great. I'm very excited, as I always am this time of year, getting ready to have an amazing year of AoC sports. We thank you, adults and parents, for supporting our athletes, getting them to us, for picking our school. We can't thank you guys enough. We really, really appreciate it. We wouldn't have a program without you. So from the bottom of our hearts, on behalf of all members of AoC, we really appreciate your support. We appreciate having your kids. Anytime you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email at bfaulkner at academyofthecity.org. I'll be happy to show some support, give you some answers, whatever it is that you need, let me know. All right, everyone, have a great night. Thank you for an amazing night, and I hope to see you and your athletes in some of our sports seasons. Take care.